Here, I'll cover this window. This window's open. No, it's not.
Oh God. Dogs are dead. 2 dead dogs.
I know you know what's going on and why you were here. Okay? I know you were talking on the phone with your husband right now.
Husband
Okay.
or boyfriend?
He's just a boyfriend.
Okay. Does he live here with you? How long have you guys been together?
2015.
Okay. We're investigating a murder.
Police chase ends in a fiery crash, Huey shooting his fiancée to death and killing himself.
A small town in Illinois comes to a halt when a family is brutally murdered in their home. Tangled in a web of lies and jealousy, the mastermind's plans behind all of this backfires terribly. Welcome to my channel, everyone. Courtney Elise here, aka Court Crimes TV. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and comment. Also, hit that notification bell, that way you'll know every time I upload. Let's get into the video. On the evening of September 17th, 2023, police will go to the home of Zoraida and Alberto to do a welfare check. Zoraida, hadn't returned any of her mother's phone calls that day, and Alberto hadn't shown up for work. Something that is very unusual for the two of them to do. Once officers got to the house, they noticed all the lights were off and the house was eerily quiet. Looking through the windows, they saw the coffee stand was knocked over and the TV on the floor. Armed, they would go around to the back of the house, and this is where they would be met with the family's 3 dogs dead in a pool of blood.
Let's go. See if you can peek in the back. There's a window, right? Yeah. Here, I'll cover this window. This window's open. No, it's not.
Oh God. Dogs are dead. 2 dead dogs.
I need more units here. Hold this.
350.
I got 2 dead dogs, TV's knocked over, and a cocktail knocked over in the front room.
Once inside, they would find Alberto, Zoraida, and their 2 young sons riddled with bullets. With the home now a murder scene, investigators would try to figure out who would want to do this to this family. Officers would go around and talk to the people of the neighborhood, while investigators would stay behind and talk to Zoraida's brother. Zoraida's brother would tell them he had no idea who would want to hurt his sister and her family. He also told investigators that Zoraida and Alberto had moved in that neighborhood earlier that year and everything seemed to be fine. He said that as far as he knew, they weren't struggling financially either. Investigators also ruled out the possibility of a murder because, according to Zoraida's brother, no one in the house owned a gun. After talking to more and more people and just trying to gather as much information as they could, they would finally have a person of interest. That would be a 32-year-old man by the name of Nathaniel, a man who Zoraida worked with and was also having an affair with. Now let's get into Nathaniel. Nathaniel was in an 8-year relationship with a 50-year-old woman by the name of Ermalynda. It showed online that the two were engaged, and Nathaniel would even refer to her as his wife, even though the two never had a marriage license. Nathaniel said they only had a church ceremony. Now, Nathaniel was described as a gun enthusiast who once owned a security company called Black Bear Security and Promotions. His security company wasn't licensed and it was eventually shut down.
According to these state business records, Huey's security company had been registered at the Streamwood location since at least 2021. The firm, officially called Black Bear Security LLC, also includes the word promotion here on its Facebook page. That ad with the gun and apparent silencer promotes Black Bear's residential, business, personal, and bodyguard security. Another ad shows a pistol, magazines, and a knife with the statement, "I can and I will."
After his security company was shut down, he started working at Avani Engineering. Sorry if I mispronounced that. And this is where he would end up meeting Zoraida. Now, like I said before, Nathaniel was in an 8-year relationship with a woman by the name of Ermalinda, a woman he referred to as his wife. They lived together, and she, Ermalinda, would always post pictures of the two of them on Facebook. you know, going out, going on trips, on boats, you know, just being a couple. To the outside world, they looked like a perfect couple. They looked like they were in love. But unfortunately, everything that glitters is not gold. Nathaniel had a lot of problems mentally and criminally. Ermalinda's daughter described Nathaniel as very paranoid and a huge manipulator. He also had a criminal past where there was a court order that banned him from ever possessing firearms. So how he was able to own a security company where there are firearms and how he was able to constantly post pictures of him with guns still baffles the minds of investigators to this day. Nathaniel and Ermalinda's relationship, like I said, was not perfect at all. Nathaniel had a history of straying and constantly cheating on Ermalinda throughout their entire relationship.
When's the last time that he had an affair? Because I know this is not the first time.
No, it's not.
Okay. When's the last time you knew he had an affair?
When we first started dating.
2015?
2015 to maybe 17. You know what? His son was born and he said, I'm not having any more affairs. I'm not cheating on you.
Okay.
Stupidly.
Okay.
Do I know if he stopped? No, I don't know.
Him being unfaithful really messed with her mentally. So when she found out about the affair between Nathaniel and Zoraida, she really flew off the ledge. Now, like I said before, Ermalinda knew about Nathaniel's cheating. So she decided to come up with a brilliant plan to make a whole bunch of fake online personas and fake phone numbers to deter Nathaniel from cheating.
According to the investigative report, Ermalinda was so jealous of Nathaniel's mistress, Zoraida, that she hatched a plot to kill her, and how she did it is almost unbelievable. Over a series of months, Ermalinda created a series of phony identities.
Follow me, because this is about to get weird and you're gonna be like, why didn't she just leave instead of doing all of this? She, Ermalinda, would start to text Nathaniel posing as a member of one of these criminal organizations. She had Nathaniel fully believing that he was a part of a Mexican and Bulgarian criminal cartel.
Ermalinda had been pretending to be members of the cartel, messaging on social media and texting him, directing him that he needed to kill this family.
She even convinced Nathaniel that his own life was in danger if he didn't do it. The entire time, Nathaniel had no idea that it was Ermalinda who was ordering the murders of Zoraida and her entire family.
So this is why Nathaniel was so paranoid. Remember, Ermalinda's daughter described Nathaniel as very paranoid. She said Nathaniel would go as far as covering the Ring doorbell with black electrical tape, covering the red lights on the TV with black electrical tape. She said if anybody tried to remove it, he would go off. She also told police that he would tell her that people were out to get him. The people being these fake cartels that his wife is convincing him he's a part of. But Nathaniel was not Ermalinda's only victim. Ermalinda was also messaging Zoraida and Alberto using the Pinger app. In June of 2023, she, Ermalinda, posing as this Mexican or Bulgarian cartel member, would start to message them. These messages warned Zoraida to stay away from Nathaniel. She also told Zoraida that she was putting her children in danger by continuing to see Nathaniel. Zoraida, not knowing who she's messaging, would respond to these messages saying, "You don't know me as a person nor as a mother." The messages she would send to Alberto were urging him to confront Zoraida about Zoraida's cheating. These messages Ermalinda sent Alberto warned him just how dangerous Nathaniel was. She told Alberto, as one of these cartel members, "I don't believe she believes any of my warnings, and for the safety of your family, she really needs to be honest with you. He, Nathaniel, has rifles and guns that he carries with him. The mother of your children is putting them in danger, and she knows it." Alberto responded by saying, "All I want to do is work and go home and be with my family. I'm not a complicated person, and I don't need or deserve any of this drama. I want to add that when Alberto initially found out about the affair between Zoraida and Nathaniel, he did damage the tires of Nathaniel's truck, but that's it. Just thought I'd add that in there. Back to Ermalinda and all her personalities. 2 weeks before everything happened, Alberto received another text from Ermalinda, once again posing as this cartel member.
Less than 2 weeks before the killings, this blunt text to Alberto Rolón. This will be the last I say of this, Alberto. This stupid girl will be the reason you have no children.
Despite all the threats towards them, Alberto nor Zoraida ever went to the police. There's no record of them ever going to the police and reporting this, which in my opinion is dumb, because someone is threatening your children. You don't know who it is. They claim to be a cartel member and you don't go to the police. They did, however, go to friends, but they never went to the police. Okay.
Despite many red flags, police records do not indicate the family ever reported to authorities they were being threatened with death. And it wasn't just the family. Zoraida Bartolome had confided with a co-worker about the threats her husband had received, and that co-worker apparently never reported anything to authorities.
Ermalinda would then, still posing as this cartel member, would then message an already paranoid Nathaniel, telling him that there was a mole that was out to get him. Ermalinda was getting frustrated because her plan of trying to get Nathaniel to stay away from Zoraida wasn't working. And her plan of trying to get Zoraida to stay away from Nathaniel wasn't working. So she was frustrated, so she had to do something. And she decided to go full-blown sinister. On September 14th, 2023, posing again as one of her online personas, would text Nathaniel and say that Zoraida was the mole that was planning on attacking him. People that work with Nathaniel said he left work early that day, clearly disturbed by something. Once he left work that day, he and this cartel member started planning the murder of Zoraida. They started looking at cameras, researching the neighborhood, how to avoid leaving DNA at the scene, and how to quickly get in and out of the house without being noticed. Nathaniel would tell these cartel members that his wife was going to drive him there, not knowing that in fact it was his wife he was texting all along. According to police, this persona told Nathaniel to make the house look like a burglary had occurred by some kids. She allegedly reassured him that many murders go unsolved, not to worry about it. And in the early morning hours of September 17th, 2023, at around 3:17 a.m., Nathaniel would be driven to Zoraida's house by Ermalinda.
They say investigators analyzed iCloud backup records and found Palomo created multiple fake online profiles and phone numbers to communicate with Huey. He thought he was talking to members of a Mexican cartel that had ties to Palomo. Police say Huey didn't know those fake accounts detailed a virtual world Ermalinda created. One account persuaded Huey he was a cartel hitman. Over the year, the messages escalated until one day the account told Huey he needed to kill Zoraida and her family. So Huey, believing he was now a part of this dangerous cartel, carried out the murders while police say Palomo was in the car outside waiting.
Nathaniel would go around the back of the house and break down the back door. There, he would be met with Alberto. Nathaniel would Alberto a total of 5 times, leaving him dead in the hallway. Zoraida and her 2 young sons were all already in one bedroom because apparently, from what I saw online, one of the little boys was having trouble sleeping, so they all decided to just stay in one room and sleep so they could sleep good. Well, when Nathaniel found them, Zoraida immediately closed the door and tried to block it, but Nathaniel would through the door, injuring her. And once he got into the bedroom, Zoraida couldn't protect her children because she was injured. I'm assuming she was like shot in the back or something, but she was injured. She couldn't protect her children. And this is when Nathaniel would shoot both the little boys, who are aged 9 and 7, twice in the head, killing them. He would then turn his attention to Zoraida and her point blank in the head, killing her. The dogs, who I'm assuming were very terrified at this moment, weren't spared because he ended up all three of them in the head multiple times. Once everything was done in the house, this is when he would go around and start to vandalize everything, like knocking over tables, knocking down the TVs, because this is what the persona, Ermalinda, told him to do. Make it look like a burglary. He would go around the house, knocking everything over. He even, I think I read, he cut the screen to a window in the back of the house or in the front of the house, one of the two. He also started to spray paint on the wall an F, but something happened with the spray can and he just ditched that option and he ended up leaving. He was in the house, from what I saw online, for 40 minutes. That next evening of September 17th, after not receiving any phone calls from her daughter, Zoraida's mother would send police over to her house for a welfare check. And when police got there, they would find the scene, and this is what led them to Nathaniel. When police showed up to Nathaniel's job the very next day, Nathaniel looked very shook. He wasn't expecting them to come to him so fast. You know, he thought he got away with it. He denied ever going to Zoraida's house and having anything to do with the murders. They asked him about the messages that they found on Zoraida's phone, but he said he didn't know anything about that. He did say that he had been receiving very threatening messages and that people were out to get him. He told police that these people were Bulgarian and Mexican. Now, let me tell you, Ermalinda was so invested in these fake personas that she went as far as going on the dark web to learn how to hack into people's phones. And this is how she was hacking into Nathaniel's phone, making him feel like he was being watched. She would also translate, I guess like Google Translate, what she was saying in Bulgarian and send it to Nathaniel. So Nathaniel fully believed he was being targeted by the Bulgarian and Mexican cartel. Police are listening to this, and they could see Nathaniel is visibly shaken, probably because he's been found out. He's not about to get away with murder, but they could see he's very shaken. And they asked him, can we see your phone? Can we search your phone? And this is when Nathaniel starts to stall and is like, no, why do you need my phone? And the police are like, we're not looking at you as the person who did it. We just know that you and Zoraida were communicating and we want to just check your phone. And Nathaniel's like, no, can you wait till after work? I'm gonna put the video in here.
So we were talking with the bosses, and they said, well, we already went through phones. They already got one half of the conversation. And you said you talked to her on your phone, right? Yeah. Okay. So what we'd like, or what we're asking for, is consent to get the text messages off your phone between you and her, or Snapchat or whatever it is between you, so we have both sides of it. We're trying to eliminate you as a suspect, but
it's all on the computer, right? You can get it out of the computer.
No, we have to take the phone, we plug it in, we take it out, and then we give your phone back.
Oh, I didn't have anything in there.
That's even better.
I tell you.
No, I believe you, but, well, yeah, I mean, just let me see it. But, I mean, I believe you, it's just the problem is that
this is all I have right there from her. I didn't have anything back.
Oh, this from this morning?
Yeah. Everything else, though, you have to grab it from the computer.
Well, I mean, it'll be on there. It'll be on your phone. You can't. Still in the thing. In the catch.
When you delete stuff, it's never actually.
So let's just say you have like a 64 gig phone. You use about 58 of it. The rest is the catch. It stays in the catch. And why I asked is the bosses called right away. They were like, well, they're like, we'd like to see if we can get the stuff, from your end back that way, and see if maybe your husband got wind of it and pulled it off. So we just want to take a look. I mean, on our side of it, we can get a search warrant, to go through the phone, and it's take a little longer. But on the fastest way would be consent, pull it off, and give your phone back. Than it would be to, and again, I explained to you earlier, I'm trying to eliminate you.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a deceased girl, and her last fling or boyfriend or whatever is you, and I'm sure that if you're an outsider looking in, who's your suspect? You know what I mean? And so I'd like to eliminate that. I'd like to say, well, no, we looked through stuff. He didn't have nothing to do with it. We're done with it.
I guess I'd rather you guys just go on the computer.
I agree with you, but again, there's it would take us, you know, a couple hours to pull information off the phone that could eliminate you as a suspect, like right from the start. It's up to you.
It feels like you're pretty suspect enough, man.
Well, I mean, I'm not joking with you. Anytime somebody dies, you look at the husband, the boyfriend. If it's a girl, if it's a guy, you look at his wife and any kind of lovers he had, and we look. That's what we look at. We start there, and then this person was at work, so we eliminate that. This person was, you know, we went through the phone. There's nothing between those two. No threats. No. I mean, you're telling us there's no threats, but I can't go to our bosses. I can't go to a state attorney and say, no, I verified it. There's no threats. I have to, if I can verify and say, no, I went through his phone. There's no threats. They seemed to be good together. There was no threats. There was no animosity between the two of them. There was no fighting. There was none of that stuff. Eliminate it.
Just go on the computer, Chief, because I don't want to give up my phone.
After all of that going back and forth with Nathaniel, they would let him go. But they were still suspicious of him. So they would follow him. And this is when they would see Nathaniel transferring guns into another man's car. Police would then go to Ermalinda's home and question her. Of course, she's playing dumb. She's trying to play stupid, like she doesn't know what's going on. I'm gonna insert that clip in here as well.
Hello. Hi, Hermalinda. My name is Detective Garcia.
Hello.
From the Romero Police Department. This is Detective Wagner.
Hello.
I know you know what's going on and why you were here. Okay? I know you were talking on the phone with your husband right now.
Husband
okay.
or boyfriend?
He's just a boyfriend.
Okay. Does he live here with you? How long have you guys been together?
2015.
Okay. We're investigating a murder. Okay?
I murdered someone.
So, we have in our possession some phones, okay? And in those phones, we're doing what is called a phone dump. So what happens is if anybody's talking on a text app that you can download, for example, Text Now, we can retrieve those messages.
Okay.
We have retrieved those messages. All right, we've read them. They're pretty clear that somebody's pretty upset at the victim. Okay? Is there any way that these text messages are going to come back to you? Or your name or your phone or anything associated with that? Okay.
She did, however, acknowledge Nathaniel's cheating and how much it upset her. She also said that she doesn't know anything about Zoraida. She would also provide an alibi for Nathaniel.
Have you ever met Zoraida?
No.
You seen a picture of her?
No.
So that name comes up to you because you saw it?
Well, really, that name stuck in my head because that night I thought, are you cheating on me?
Was the person calling?
They're calling in.
Okay.
More than once. And it was a long name. I thought it was Bartholomew, actually. Mm-hmm. It was a long name, but...
So when we asked your husband if he knew this person, Zoraida, he said, I've never heard that name. Why would he be lying to us?
I don't know. I don't know.
He's getting into arguments? Do you talk to the women that he's having affairs with?
No, for what?
I don't know.
No.
Leave your man alone kind of thing?
No, I'm too old for that. I'm 50 years old. There's no reason for me to, no. And quite honestly, it's not the female's fault. It's his fault.
Right.
So, no.
I mean, obviously you get upset over it.
On September 19th, Ermalynda would be stopped outside of her home before she could get into her black Chevy Malibu. She was confronted about her car being caught on a license plate reader. At 3:48 a.m. on September 17th, her car was spotted on camera at Zoraida and Alberto's home. Police would get a search warrant, and instead of her just staying around and letting them, check her car, she would just leave on foot. Nathaniel and Ermalinda later on that day would end up meeting with their attorney. What was said, who knows? September 20th would come, and Ermalinda's family would report her missing. Her family knew about Nathaniel's erratic behavior. They knew he loved guns. They knew he had a bunch of guns. So they were worried when they couldn't get in touch with her. They had feared he had kidnapped her. Even though the police had Ermalinda and Nathaniel on their radar, they didn't have enough evidence to immediately arrest them. So they would just let them go. And on that same day of the 20th, they couldn't get in touch with Nathaniel and they couldn't get in touch with Ermalinda. With both of the suspects gone, a bulletin would be released for Nathaniel's arrest.
In the evening hours of September 19th, the female person of interest was reported by family as a missing endangered person out of Streamwood, Illinois, and entered into the law enforcement agency's data system. Later that same evening, the Romeoville Police Department distributed a statewide bulletin to law enforcement agencies, believing Huey to be a credible suspect in this investigation.
But Nathaniel's GMC SUV will be tracked by a license plate reader.
This morning, acting on a digital license plate reader alert, the Catoosa, Oklahoma Police Department was alerted to the presence of the suspect vehicle in their jurisdiction. Acting on this alert, local authorities located the vehicle and attempted to conduct a traffic stop.
600 miles away from his home, police officers in Catoosa, Oklahoma, sorry if I mispronounced that, tracked them down. Nathaniel and Ermalinda would be spotted inside of a Walmart in Catoosa, Oklahoma. The surveillance video captured them just walking through. They didn't seem on edge. They didn't seem jittery or antsy about anything. They actually just looked pretty normal. And Ermalinda didn't look like she was being held against her will. I mean, you could see them on the camera smiling, so they didn't look like anything was going on. They didn't look suspicious.
Police tell us Palomo was never the endangered person that her family claimed in a police report during the manhunt. Tonight, the family said in a statement they had no previous knowledge that police considered Palomo a participant in a quadruple murder plot. And now, new video obtained by the I-Team shows what Palomo and Huey were doing.
They're holding hands. It's not an animated discussion. It looks like a conversation you'd have with a friend.
ABC 7 police affairs consultant and former suburban police chief Bill Kushner watched Walmart video we obtained showing Huey and Palomo buying what appears to be a burner phone, hair dye, and other cosmetics.
What does this say to you?
You're on the run. You don't want to be caught. You don't want to be found. If you're going to change your appearance, this is almost a Hollywood plot.
Once they exited the store, a Catoosa, Oklahoma police officer would turn on her lights and try to pull him over. But instead of pulling over, Nathaniel would decide to speed off and take them on a small high-speed chase.
We're still traveling westbound, go ahead and go 63. 18300, 944, car on fire.
Nathaniel would end up crashing his truck on the highway into a small cement medium, and the truck would immediately catch on fire. As police would approach the vehicles, guns drawn, they would hear two pops. Nathaniel Huey Jr. would shoot Ermalynda Palomo in the back of the head. Nathaniel would then turn the gun on himself. Police would immediately rush to the car and they would pull Ermalynda out and she would be rushed to the hospital, but she would end up dying later on. Nathaniel was obviously dead in the truck.
Both solid suspects, the couple is cited in Oklahoma, where a police chase ends in a fiery crash, Huey shooting his fiancee to death and killing himself.
Something I forgot to add was the day before they decided to flee, Nathaniel would meet his mother in a store and confess to the murders of Ermalinda, Alberto, and their children and the dogs. According to police, he said that he decided to kill their children because they would be better off dead than alive without their parents.
According to these crime records obtained tonight by the I-Team, Huey killed the children because the kids were better off dead than alive without parents. Huey, who owned a fledgling security company, was a suspect from the beginning.
So here's my opinions on this entire case. Ermalinda was so bothered by Nathaniel's constant infidelity, she decided to catfish him and make this whole web of lies to deter him from cheating on her. Nathaniel is a 32-year-old man and you are a 50-year-old woman with children and grandchildren. Why didn't you just leave and find a man who was going to appreciate you? Why would you get another family involved in this nonsense? Why would you encourage a man you supposedly loved to kill a whole family? It doesn't make any sense. Now you're dead. Your plans of keeping Nathaniel to yourself completely backfired. All I'm gonna say is rest in peace to Alberto, Zoraida, and the 2 children, and also the 3 dogs. Rest in peace.